Libra.
Hello Libra and Happy New Year. This is your January 2017 forecast for your astrology this month. Listen, we're starting off beautifully with a Mars-Neptune. And I mentioned that on your 2017 forecast for the full year, but here in your personal chart for January, this Mars-Neptune is in your 6th house. It has to do with your goal orientation, your ambitions, and so forth, your physical drive and whatnot. And it seems to be now powered up by Neptune, which is hopes, dreams, and vision. So whatever it is you're starting off the year with is inspiring you to get out of the rut, up into new routines that are more favorable, that feel spiritually too, more uplifting. There's such a creative energy in this transit because why? Well, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It's in the sign of Pisces. Mars is giving you drive to feel your creativity and put it to use, right? Now, it will be 2 years before Mars comes back around to infuse this energy from Neptune. So the signature of January 1st will remain with Mars as it cruises through your chart. It will allow you to have a little bit more of that spiritual creative drive alongside with it. So it's time to plant intentions and seeds, like with any conjunctions. That's also the new moon, right? And you know all about that. When we do our intentions, the moon will carry us for a whole month, but also for the annual tour around the chart. But here now, we want to think 2 years, infusing Mars with great intentions. So think about your long-term goals as you hit New Year this year. So, but the main focus of your chart in January is the 4th house, which has to do with home, family, foundation, who you are on the inside. It's your real estate, your living quarters. And here we find the Sun and Mercury and Pluto. Mercury's still retrograde until January 8th. This gives you a little extra extended time to fix those things that you started off on as a project. There might be loose ends to kind of wrap up together. But the Sun, which is the essence of you, it's all about how you can just beautify your home, give it a little bit more extra atmosphere, and it's also how you're relating to family, all right? So family is going to be very important in January, especially when the Sun passes over that transformational point of that Pluto that you got going on here. So that could be family members, it could be parents. The Sun will be meeting it. Mercury will be coming up to Pluto a little bit later in the month as well. More on that when we get to the calendar part. Venus has been cruising through your 5th house in the sign of Aquarius there in December, and you still have a few degrees to go as we enter into January. January 4th, Venus will be moving out of your 5th house of love, joy, creativity, self-expression, your children, and move into the sign of Pisces. And it loves being in Pisces because Pisces is so creative in itself, and Venus is all about creativity as well, and your love and desires. So January 4th, Venus will be moving into 0 degrees of Pisces, and it will remain there for the rest of the month of January. That will be your 6th house, Libra. So that shows that your joy, your happiness, your desires will be looking at how you are working on a daily basis. How is your routine working for you? Is it up and running? Is it efficient? Have you had roadblocks? Do you feel you're in a rut? Well, we have Mars now carving out that path, right? With Neptune there. Now Venus is going to join that party. So whatever it is you're already working on, Venus is going to add to it more joy and happiness and thrills maybe too. So for those of you Libras that feel like you have been stuck up against a wall, nothing has been working too well, efficiently for you, well, you have drive power with both Venus and Mars here alongside with Neptune. Neptune allows you to have great vision. So dream up a storm and then hang on to it. and then release it, but hang on to it in that release, if that makes sense. It's all about disattached attachment, right? So we want to empower it, release it, but trust it that it's going to be working for you. It's going to take a whole year for Venus to go around, 2 years for Mars to go around, but both of them will have the joy of being empowered here in January. Now, we also have the, let's talk about Mars too, since we're talking about what's changing signs right now. Mars has been in the sign of Pisces here throughout the month of January. Will move into Aries, the sign that it rules. So it's going to be double whammy power from February. Say January 29th, it's going to shift out of the area of your day-to-day routine, physical health and whatnot, and move into your relationship area. More on that in February, but do know that this is what you're working up and towards. Venus will follow that down the road as well. I'm already working on your February scope, so you have a lot to look forward to when it comes to love and romance in February, so stay tuned. But here this month, it's more like putting down the path, okay? Get your grounding done so that you don't have to think about your routine. We want our routines to be efficient, so we don't have to focus on it, right? That's the message here of January. So we have a full moon January 12th, and this is going to be 14 degrees in Cancer, which is your career house. So around this time, you will feel that you're being illuminated, the floodlights are on your career. You might achieve something you've been working for. There might be a proposition or an opportunity coming your way. So pay attention to what you will receive on the 12th, because it's not just by happenstance. It's something you have worked towards. This is when you're going to gain the rewards for it. Again, your career house. Then we have the new moon on January 27th, 0 degrees in Aquarius, which for you is your 5th house. And what a great place to have a new moon. We only get it once a year. The 5th house is all about your joy, your self-expression, children, love relationships, new relationships as well. Also those hobbies that you are investing time or money into. This is a great time to plant those seeds to see how this area can grow for you, not just this month, Libra, because it's going to be a full year before you have the next opportunity to plant these intentions. So when you listen to your moon and rising sign, you will have this new moon in other areas of your chart. So you might want to go and check out those to see where you can grow and expand in those other areas additionally to this 5th house. But 5th house is all about relationships, children, joy, hobbies, leisure, those kind of things. So this should be a fun month. And Venus has just been there. It's kind of salted the path for you. So yeah, great time to look forward to. But we're looking at the full month in the overall, and there's a lot of good aspects. We're going to be talking about it. There's 2 stop signs this month though. And we always like to be a little forewarned when they come up and around so that we know how to deal with it to get the highest level of support to move ahead and make wise choices. And I say choices because that's exactly what these stop signs are about. We will talk about it when we go through the calendar. But let's start off top of the month. We mentioned Mars, Neptune. That's your 6th house. For health, it's how you look at your daily life, your routines. On the 3rd, though, we have Mercury, bringing great news here. Either it's a love message or it could be a good money day to negotiate, talk. If you're negotiating new pay or higher fees, promotion, oh, good for you. This is Mercury and Venus. On the 7th, though, the Sun will be empowered and infused by the power of Pluto. This is in your family. So this is a day here where, yes, things can become very pinpointed, very, very sharp. It's a point of transformation. So that could be interaction with one of your parents. It could be a family member. If you're looking at closing on a house, well, this is empowering. These two planets, or should I say planet and the sun, they meet up once a year, and then the sun will pass it and carry the signature of this Plutonian energy with it. But that's the 12th, no, the 7th, I'm sorry, in your home area. On the 11th, Mars is going to also couple up with Pluto. Mars being your drive, your ambitions, your goal, your physical energy. Pluto coming in behind it with nuclear force. Well, you can move mountains on this day. If you're initiating anything new, excuse me, I feel that not just your drive, but your goal and your focus here is super sharp. It's like holding 10 wild horses back. Try that. Doesn't work, right? So you're good to go. This is a day to schedule for anything that really craves a lot of attention and a lot of physical energy as well. On the 12th, this is a date that you want to circle on your calendar as a beautiful date night. This is because Venus, which rules love and romance, but also money, of course, is together here doing the dance with Neptune. Neptune, being the higher octave of Venus, brings and fuses these two energies to more of what we can feel otherworldly type love. It's highly attuned. Romantically, it's a very creative aspect. For those of you who are artists, you might just channel a whole lot of beautiful designs, or you might hear celestial music if you are a musician. But definitely for those of you who are single, don't sit at home, because these aspects aren't just for you. They go for all of us, you know, planetary wise. So everybody has this magnet of wanting, longing to attract a partner. For those of you who are single, those of you in a relationship, you will just find that your relationship is on a very heightened and beautiful level here today, January 12th. On the 19th, we're coming up against that first stop sign that we mentioned, and that's Saturn and Mars. They're squaring off on each other, and it's frustrating, you know, when we hit those stop signs, because Mars is full of drive and action, heading down that superhighway, right? And Mars being here in your 6th house, you're definitely working on wanting to perfect whatever it is that you see as a project, right? So when Saturn slows you, you're like, well, what's up with that? But we have to remember, as frustrating as it can be sometimes with Saturn, Saturn's always looking out for your highest good, for security, right? So in this sense, it's more like Saturn is asking you, are you sure you want this? Are you sure you want to go in this direction? You know, and it's in that slow down moment. The gift of Saturn is to slow us just enough, so we're looking at what we're doing, so we're not just floundering over something and regretting it in the aftermath. So I sense that there is a directional choice coming up, and that Mars is in the 3rd house for communication, has to do with siblings, or even communication with somebody at somewhat of a distance. So you might not know what to do, and you might feel you're on the fence with it, and that's okay. You know, I always like to say, when there's doubt, it means don't act. All the information you need is not present yet. There's still some missing pieces of the puzzle. However, though, already on the 20th, the day after, Venus and Pluto will come together, join forces, and it will show you your direction. That's why in the old days when they said, if you don't know, well, just sleep on it. We don't always have to be overachievers of having to act on every single thought we have in the now, right? So already on the 20th, Venus, which is love, it's security, it's money too. Pluto also can rule money. But it has to do with transformational directions from the heart. Then you will know. So you will have that sense of conviction that you were lacking on the 19th. So you're good to go. And on the 23rd, more good news is coming in from Mercury, which is always the messenger, and it's bringing in a Neptunian message, which really kind of hones in there on your dreams, hopes, and vision. Then we have Venus coming up with the next stop sign here, squaring off on Saturn. Again, we're finding ourselves up against a decision that we need to make. which either has to do with feelings, emotions, love and romance, or also money. And Saturn is always, like I said, when Mars squared up on Saturn there on the 19th, it's the same thing. Saturn's looking out for you so that you can make the right decision. It's just asking you to slow down for the day, look at what you're really feeling. If it is about purchasing, buying something, then you might want to ask yourself, or Saturn may want to be asking you, do you really need it? Or do you just want it, right? Is it something you're going to regret? If it's all good, if it's meant to be, you will know just in a day or two. Same thing when it comes to your relationship. This could be a day where you might feel a little bit, at distance. Think about Saturn with rings, right? That you might not be able to get to that very deep core where Venus, of course, is always the most happy. But then again, we have times where we grow, and that is what Saturn's message for us is all about. So that's the 27th, and just already within the next couple of days, whatever was in question will now come to you with that inner sense of knowingness, okay? When we feel confident, that's when we want to act. That's when we're all at one with ourselves, right? So we got a couple of those stop signs this month. It's all good. I feel that we need these small little moments of adjustments so that we can get things right. But then the planet is, in direct motion. Then both Mars and Venus will be moving onward quickly from these 2 points. And then we have, of course, Mars moving into Aries on the 29th. So that allows us to really get up and running with those projects that we are all signed up for. And of course, we have those contracts, spiritual contracts that we set ourselves up for. You're good to go in this area now because Mars will be moving into your relationship area, Libra. This is where you're going to see all the action take place from the 29th and then straight through that of February. That will be a time where you're going to be interacting a whole lot more dynamically. You might find your partner might be that much more fiery and persistent, and also taking more initiative as well. So there we have it. This is what we can expect for January, and I'm already working on your February scopes, which is looking pretty cool. So I'll see you next month. I know.